Well, David, you said a moment ago that you would rather be in the Burnley dressing room, particularly probably after the 3 o'clock game finishes, if they beat Watford, because they'd go 5 points clear of the bottom three, 5 points clear above Everton, that is, before their game on Sunday. That would be a huge psychological boost, wouldn't it?
For Everton, that'd be the worst case scenario, wouldn't it? And yeah, I mean, listening to the way they were Jackson was talking there, it's pretty basic. That's all they need at the moment. And when you see success from teams getting out, it's usually through basic formula, not anything too fancy. And as much as I want Watford to win, for my old team, it's going to be a tough challenge for Watford.
7 points from a possible 9 in the last 3 games, Karen. How has Mike Jackson done this? How's he turned things around?
You know what? They've been more attacking. They look happy. They look free. And Dyche has done it as a great job. He really has, given the resources and what he's achieved there. But maybe at first we all thought this was a bad mistake, getting rid. And now we're looking at it and gone, actually, they've turned it around. And he seems to have come in. Dwight McNeil's playing like the McNeil we've seen previously, and his confidence is back. And the goal they scored the other day, it was outstanding. Back to front, playing through thirds from left to right, and a great through ball and a great finish from Vidra. That for me, 6 months ago, that wouldn't have been a Burnley. I would have gone, wow, that could have been anyone else, but it wouldn't have been a Burnley. So they look happy, and the thing is, if you're playing happy when you're at the bottom, it's no question that they're going to go up. And you're right, we're talking about dressing rooms. I'd want to be in a happy dressing room despite the position we're in. I think I'd rather be in theirs. Yeah, well, it must breed confidence, mustn't it? I think, Darren, in the media and in the press, whenever we were looking at the teams that could possibly go down, and Burnley were in the relegation zone at the time under Sean Dyche, everyone was giving Burnley the biggest chance of staying up because of the manager, not necessarily because of the players. So when he left Burnley, it seemed a bit of a worrying time. Are you surprised at what Mike Jackson's done in such a short period?
Yes, in a word. I mean, I think as far as Dyche is concerned, I think the two can exist exclusively. Dyche did a magnificent job with functional football in charge of a club with not many resources, particularly after the takeover. We thought that there would be lots of players coming in, and there were too few. And this guy took over, and everyone believed that was it. It would be the beginning of the end. But what he's done is very clever. He's got Ben Mee alongside him, who's very popular, as we know, in the dressing room, very much a leader. And he's had a clarity, again, about his message, about what he's wanted the players to do. He's taken the handbrake off, which is what you were saying a second ago. If we look at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, as we did a second ago, we saw those results. The most important column was the goals against column, because they were both 2 clean sheets. And I think that is what has helped Burnley most of all. They can express themselves knowing that the guys behind it, it's not going to be the end of the world. They're not going to concede. It's not going to, they don't have to have one eye on what's going on behind them. I think they're playing with a lot more freedom now, and I think that's going to help them not just to go safe, but to enjoy themselves doing it as well. Yeah,
sorry to bring this up, David, but encouraging for Burnley is Watford's home form. They've lost their last 10 in a row at Vicarage Road. If they lose this one, they'll be the first ever Premier League side to lose 11 Premier League matches in a season at home.
I thought I had some records. That's one you wouldn't want.
No, it's not.
Why?
What's happening at Vicarage Road? Because the fans are always there, they're supporting, and they're not seeing any wins.
The fans have been great. And as an ex-player, obviously I want to see my old club do well. My concern is I just don't get the feel that I had when I went to Watford a couple of years ago in the Premier League, whenever it was. It was probably a few years ago for me. There was this family feel about it. Everyone seemed to be going in the right direction, and I don't see that now. What I see is fragmented players on a football field. There's some bit of quality here, bit of quality there. I see players with. I sound like a parent here, but I see players who seem to be more focused about other things than football, and then continue sort of dragging that into the football environment. And I'm thinking, you're in a position where surely 100% focus should be on the game and not what you're doing off the field. And therefore, if the manager can't control that, then what else is going on in that club that isn't being controlled and putting them in that position?
Yeah, well, Watford can't officially be relegated if they lose this game, but if they do lose, it's going to be very difficult. It'll pretty much go down to goal difference. When you're relying on that, it's not looking too good, is it?
I mean, you just look at the table there, the results. no win in that. I mean, that's relegation for them, and I don't see them getting out of it.
Simple
Always
as that.
the optimist, Karen.
Yeah, I'm trying to sell the game, trying to sell the weekend. They're down.
The interesting thing
Jules
about-
just looks at me like,
anything else?
no, I don't know, Jules. That's all I got for
I
you.
just think that the model has failed them. They've been okay with it so far because they've had managers who have been able to make it work. But their model is literally bring players in and ask the manager to make it work. And whether the manager makes it work or not, they get thrown overboard at the first sign of trouble. Cisco sacked at the start of the season, first sign of trouble after he'd taken them up from the Championship.
Yeah.
And I just think eventually it catches up with you. They brought players in January that had no real pedigree to speak of, and Hodgson's been trying to make it work. But, it's just a way of presiding over the club that has no cohesion, no team spirit, no bond. It's just individuals on the pitch, and you can see when they're caught for goals, that there is no cohesion between the partnerships throughout the team, centre half, midfield, up front. Honestly, they're a mishmash.
It's not just me, Jamie, either.
Yeah.
But you still think they're going to win. But Darren, it's great. I'm glad you said it, because when I talk about the family bit, I know that's their kind of legacy in a sense, but I just don't see that Watford. It doesn't seem like a team. It's almost like an oxymoron, because it's just a load of players out. Something happens and they get on with the next bit, and it's not good.